And it was first in China diagnosed by symptoms, because they came out with a series of symptoms, which they're adding to all the time, notice, almost by the day it seems now. And I'll come to why that is in a second. And they were basically flu-like symptoms. Flu-like symptoms in Wuhan, one of the most toxic atmospheres in terms of air quality in the world, where there's enormous amounts of respiratory disease and flu-like symptoms. So they do it by symptoms, which is so easy. You just redesignate what was making people ill in Wuhan year after year after year, and now you call it COVID-19. And then you introduce a test, the RT-PCR test, which the creator, Kary Mullis, who won the Nobel Prize for creating the test in the 1980s, he said this test must not be used to diagnose infectious disease, because it can't. That's the test they're using to decide who has COVID-19 and who doesn't. And what that test is testing for is a genetic material which, if you amplify the genetic material enough, so many elements of it are brought to a point where the test can pick them up, that there is a point where if you amplify the genetic material and thus the sensitivity of the test enough, every single person who has the test will test positive. At lower amplifications, some will test positive, some will test negative. So we have a test not testing for SARS-CoV-2, COVID-19, because it's never been isolated. How can you create a test anyway for something you've never isolated? What's it looking for? How can you create a vaccine for something you have not isolated, and thus, what are you vaccinating for? It's all a scam. So they get the tests to produce the cases. And the more you test, the more cases you're going to get in terms of positives, not for the virus, but for the genetic material, which ultimately everybody has in their body, if you amplify it enough. And what did Tedros, the Director General of the World Health Organization, Tedros owned lock, stock and barrel by Bill Gates, as is the World Health Organization, what did he say was the way to deal with this crisis? Test, test, test. What is Hancock and Fauci and all these people that are advising governments and are in government, what are they saying? Test, test, test. Because they know that the more you test, the more you're going to get positives, not for the virus, but for the genetic material, but you're going to say it's for the virus, and so your cases go up. Oh, look, we've had this massive explosion of cases. We've got to go lockdown again. Oh, we need masks, all this stuff.